Alrighty guys, welcome back. This is the second installment of our week 2 homework check, if you will. Remember we already went through our problem solving. We're now down here to our least common multiple and greatest common factor questions. So we'll definitely get to this question here, which we had the most problems with, but that's a word problem, so we'll come to that next. First, let's just look at the general concept itself, which is, if you're given a list of numbers, find the least common multiple and find the greatest common factor. So here are our three numbers we've been given, 66, 88, and 198. The first thing we need to do is come up with the least common multiple. So remember guys that every number contains a set of multiples, and you get that set of multiples by multiplying a number by the integers, starting with 1 and then going up from there. So we could take a look, for instance, at our number 66, and we could find its multiples by taking 66 and multiplying by 1. And obviously we get 66. That is the first multiple of 66. We could then take 66 and multiply it by 2, and we get 132. That's the next multiple of 66. Now we could continue this process. 66 times 3. We get 198, and we could continue it over and over and over again. All right, there are an infinite number of multiples for any given value. All right, our goal here is we want to find the smallest multiple that is a multiple of all three of these numbers, 66, 88, and 198. So there are some helpful hints that we can use to find the LCM. Let's take a look at those. So a couple of steps. Number 1, find your largest number. Let's say find the largest number in your set. Alright, so if we want to find the largest number in our set, it's not too hard for us here. Not only are they given in order, but there are only 3 of them. 198 is the largest number in our set. Okay, step number 2. We now are going to want to find the first few multiples of this number. All right, find the first few multiples of this number. So recalling here, guys, our largest number in our set is 198. Okay, so let's see here. Let's go to the pen, kind of make it smaller, and we will change colors. Let's do blue. So 198, apologize for the sloppiness. Alright, let's find the first few multiples of this number. Well, 198 times 1 is just 198. 8s are hard. 198 times 2. That's 396. Thank goodness there are no 8s. Alright, let's keep going. 198 times 3. That's 594. And let's do one more here and see if we luck out. 198 times 4. That is 792. So 792. Alright, so these are the first 4 multiples of our largest number, 198. So what we need to do next is we need to see if our other values also have one of these multiples. Okay, so we can go back here And look, our other values, remember, are 66 and 88. So to figure out if a number is a multiple or not, we can just use division. All right, so our very first multiple of 198, let's see if that is a multiple of 66. We'd have to get an even number here, and we do. And I should say a whole number, not an even number. We do, a whole number of 3, but it also needs to be a multiple of 88. So is 198 a multiple of 88? When we divide it by 88, we'd have to get a whole number. And you can see we do not. It's 2.25. So that means that although 198 was a multiple of 198 and a multiple of 66, unfortunately, it was not a multiple of 88. So let's jump to this next number here of 396. Obviously, it's a multiple of 198 because we got it by multiplying 198 by 2. So let's see if 396 is a multiple of 66. And it is. Very good. Let's see if 396 is a multiple of 88. 88 foiled us again. It is not. So we'd have to move on to our next one. 594. Is that a multiple of 66? Yes, it is. 594. Is that a multiple of 88? Still not there yet. 6.75. You might have noticed a pattern occurring, though. I'm thinking that 792 is going to get us to where we need to go. So 792, when we divide this by 66, we see that that is 12. And 792, when we divide this by 88, there we are, 9. So 792 is a multiple of all 3 of these numbers. And in fact, it is the least common multiple of all of these numbers, since this is the smallest multiple of our largest original number. That's also a multiple of our other original numbers. So 792 would be our answer here. 792. All right, so that's our least common multiple. The next is our greatest common factor. So we now need to find the greatest common factor of these 3 numbers. Let's trash our whiteboard here and start over. So for the GCF, the first thing that you are going to want to do here is prime factor all of your numbers. I want to prime factor all of our numbers. So let's list all of our numbers really quick, recalling that they are 66, 88, and 198. So let's change our color. 66, 88, and 198. All right, so these are our 3 numbers. So now we want to prime factor these. So remember, you want to divide each of these numbers by the smallest prime number that goes in evenly. Luckily, these are all even, so we'll be able to start off by dividing everything by 2. All right, so when we take 66 and we divide this by 2, uh-oh, that's too large. Let's go here. All right, when we divide 66 by 2, we end up with 33. And now 33 is no longer divisible by 2, so we have to go to our next largest prime number, which in this case is 3. 33 divided by 3, that leaves us with 11. And 11 itself is a prime number. So let's move on to our next one. 88. We're going to divide this by 2, and we end up with 44. We'll want to divide this by 2 again, and we end up with 22. And then we'll have to divide this by 2 again, and we end up with 11, which itself is a prime number. 198. Starting off, dividing that by 2. So 200 divided by 2 would be 100, meaning that 198 divided by 2 is 99. So 99, not divisible by 2 because it's not even, but it is divisible by 3, which takes us down to 33. And now finally we'll divide 33 by the smallest prime number that goes in evenly, which is 3, and that takes us to 11. So now each of these numbers that I'm going to box in green are all of the prime factors that go into our original values. So in other words, the prime factorization of 66 is 2 times 3 times 11. The prime factorization of 88 is 2 times 2 times 2 times 11. And the prime factorization of 198 is 2 times 3 times 3 times 11. Okay, so if that wasn't enough work, we still have one more step that we need to do. To now find your GCF, you're going to need to find the product meaning multiply. You're going to have to find the product of any common prime factors in all of your numbers. So we'll use this for yellow here. So basically, you want to find triplets. For instance, in 66 there's a factor of 2. In 88 there's a factor of 2. In 198 there's a factor of 2. Therefore, in the GCF of these three numbers, there will be a factor of 2. And we're going to have to multiply this by any other shared factors. Notice here in 66, our next factor is 3. Is there a 3 to be given over here in 88? 88 contains a 2, and an 11. So no, this 3 is not going to be used because there is not a factor of 3 in the number 88. What about this number 11 here? You'll see that yes, in fact, there is a factor of 11 in all three of our original numbers. All right, and notice that we have already exhausted all of the prime factors of 66. The 2 we were able to find in our other two values. The 3, although a prime factor of 198, is not a prime factor of 88. And then the 11 was a prime factor found in all three numbers. Our very last step, guys, is just going to be to multiply or find the product of these common prime factors. 2 times 11, which is 22. So this is our final answer. That is the GCF. Alright guys, looks like that's about all we've got for today because I can only do a 15-minute video max. Alright, if you would like me to do that other word problem, please just message me. I'd be happy to do it for you. If not, that was the LCMs and the GCFs. Alright, have a good one, folks.